XLM is one of those projects that I have been highlighting for a little bit of time now on the channel. And I still think that even though it's at number 14 on the cryptocurrency list, even though it does have a market cap of almost $10 billion, I still think that it's extremely overlooked because of the overall market that it is addressing, which is not just cross-border payments. It's not just humanitarian aid. There is so much going on around Stellar that a lot of people just don't realize because they're looking at other options that this space has to offer, like XRP, HBAR, XDC, etc. But in this video, I want to go over a lot of information that will most likely change the way that most people look at XLM. And hopefully by the end of this video, you also have an idea of just how valuable XLM will eventually be. So let's first start off with the overall chart here because, we are starting to see the market waking up a bit, and XLM is up significantly on the last month. We are up about roughly almost 30%. It's about 29.42%. And I still think that XLM is about to break out in a much larger way and retarget these highs going back to the beginning of December, because this is roughly about 60 cents. We know that a lot of altcoins, including XRP, did run into January. XLM was shy to that run. It did not do anything really in January. We just continued to downtrend on the chart. But I do think on this next run up, we are going to most likely target $1 plus. And it is going to break into a new all-time high and go into price discovery as well. I'm watching XLM closely because I still think that this is going to be one of the biggest winners this cycle because of not just the RWA tokenization values behind Stellar, but also a lot of the moves that Stellar has been making. Now, talking more so about that, I do want to go over the quarterly report we have here from Stellar, built for payments, 3 times more transactions, 93% lower fees, and we have it cost you less to do more with Stellar. And this is actually comparing it to Ethereum. 3 times more transactions and 93% lower fees compared to Ethereum. Now, they did outline their Q1 2025 quarterly report. It finally did get released, and we have the impact is here. Now, let's look at some stats. Number one, the total network operations, 18.8 billion. Then we also have the average fee per operation, 9.3 million unique addresses. We also have the finality, closing time, right? Total Q1 operations, we have 471.2 million, and then also without network interruption, over 2,100 plus days. Outside of that, we have a few things here. Let's dig in, but first, reminders or North Stars, what's guiding us. So at SDF, we start every year with a few guiding principles. This is what motivates them all of 2025. They do outline this. They're talking more so about open participation. Also, everyday financial services are a priority, not just another DeFi playground. Trust enables adoption, and then results-driven execution. Here we have the 3 growth goals for 2025 on what they're trying to do. So top 10 in DeFi by TVL. This is actually pretty interesting because we know that to get into the top 10, it requires quite a bit of TVL. But we also have top 10 in monthly active wallets. 3 billion in on-chain RWAs issued on Stellar, a 10x leap from 2024. Now, listen, I'm definitely going to be watching and keeping a close eye on some of these goals to see if they are getting closer to them or if they are closing the gap on at least one of them. I think either one of these will be crazy to watch become a reality. And the ones that I'm really kind of focused on is 1 and 3 because DeFi TVL is very beneficial for the underlying network and the underlying network token. And of course, tokenization value, well, if there's $3 billion on Stellar, that's going to put a big spotlight on Stellar. And it's also going to affect the network in a positive way as well, which affects XLM. Outside of that, we also have here top 10 in DeFi by TVL. So again, they outline exactly what they're doing here. So DeFi on Stellar is scaling. Q1 saw continued top 20 TVL rank among non-EVM chains via DeFi Llama. Launch as Cetus and also USTRY by Etherfuse, the first DeFi compatible RWAs on Stellar. Hot Wallet, a multi-chain wallet launched via Telegram, bringing in new users with a highly social UX. Top 10 in monthly active wallets. We're gunning for utility, not novelty, and Q1 delivered signs of real usage. Number 1, ranked 23rd on the Nansen monthly active addresses. Total of 942,000 active addresses, including 227,000 new users. Hot Wallet hit 200,000 users via browser extension and is now launching mobile. 5 new wallets integrating MoneyGram ramps, expanding reach to 180 plus countries. And then, of course, we have the next one, which is 3 billion on-chain RWAs issued on Stellar. We've been talking about RWAs for years as the world catches up. Here's how we're stacking up in quarter one. Total RWA supply on Stellar reached 757 million, with 472 million making up the yield-bearing category. All-time highs for USDC supply, stablecoins, and Benji assets under management. 3.4 billion in RWA-related payments moved through the Stellar network. These include payments powering healthcare, payroll, and humanitarian finance, amongst others. Stellar is still number 2 globally in tokenized treasuries, right behind Ethereum. The volume is validating, but the real value comes from what it enables. GIZ scaled on-chain payroll in Syria, saving over $453,000 in monthly fees and 500 plus admin hours thanks to the Stellar network. Bigger disbursements, over 1 million in salaries to workers across South America. Societe Generale Forge issuing regulated financial instruments on chain. Ondo's USDY expanding the footprint for DeFi native yield instruments. The technical roadmap holding it all together. So here are their highlights from the 2025 roadmap. 5,000 transactions per second with 2.5 second block times. Contract Copilot for faster, safer, smart contract development. CLI upgrades, one-click mass payouts, and enterprise payment flows via the Stellar disbursement platform. And new token standards, and everything we're building is rooted in what developers and institutions have asked us for, and we're delivering. Now, this is what's to come in quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. Q Meridian 2025. So this is definitely going to be their biggest Meridian yet. This is basically like Ripple Swell if you don't know about it. It's a huge event, but you could expect builders, policymakers, and industry leaders in one place. Workshops, deep dives, and real talk on what's happening and what isn't. And then, of course, a global conversation about the financial infrastructure of tomorrow. So, again, very, very big updates incoming for Stellar, but it's been a huge so far quarter for Stellar. And this also highlights exactly what's happening around the ecosystem. It's growing in a big way. They continue to put a ton of volume on chain and value on chain as well. And they just continue to expand rapidly. But also, talking about expansions, let's actually go over here to this update from Privy. So launching Stellar org support. Privy is built for payments, so we're excited to launch support for the network that gives developers the tools they need to create experiences that are more like cash than crypto. Fast, cheap, efficient transactions protected by Privy. So when we think about something like this, we look into the companies. So number one, they power over 50 million plus accounts for 900 plus teams. We could see all of the projects that are connected to it. Of course, some very big players from the space, but also if we scroll down, right, we could see exactly what they're doing here. These are major moves for enterprises and institutional players. And if we look at who it's backed by, there's some pretty big names here, like for an example, Coinbase Ventures, as well as others. But for the most part, when we look at all of their solutions are focused on fintech payments, DeFi trading, consumer gaming, and even AI agents. I think that this integration within Stellar is great to see. And there's so many strong integrations like this that have been happening over the last couple months for Stellar. That's very exciting in my opinion. I think everyone should be focused on this because, the support for the Stellar ecosystem and the entire network itself has only been growing more and more and more. I've been keeping up with a lot of the stats around it. Like for an example, even this one, which by the way, big shout out to Tyler. We have here the number of smart contract invocations happening every single day on Stellar is actually kind of bonkers, because if we look at this, this is total Sorbonne transactions. Guys, it's over 600,000 in one day. This is why I'm focused on what Stellar is doing, because even though, right, we wait for price action, everyone's focused on price action, I'm looking at what's going on around the network, around the ecosystem. It's not just about tokenization. It's not just about payments. It's not just about integrations itself, right? It's more so about the fact that Stellar just continues to make so much noise. It reminds me of Hedera, right? I talked about Hedera for months on end, because what we were noticing around Hedera was that even though we were in the bear market, even though that the price action wasn't there, what were they doing? They were connecting with the community. They were building out solid connections and networks with some pretty big players. And on top of that, they continued to make a ton of noise by launching specific things like, the stablecoin studio, the tokenization studio. All of this can be said about Stellar. Obviously, Stellar's not launching any major, studios or anything like that. But when we look at some of the facts behind the quarterly reviews, we could see that they are putting up a ton of numbers. And also, not to mention the DeFi push from Stellar on top of the tokenization push, that's going to affect the network in a very positive way. Stellar has been absolutely killing the game. And I do suspect that they're going to continue to expand rapidly this year as well, just going off of their overall outlook for the rest of this year as well. And also the 2025 roadmap to not only improve the network massively, all of this is to focus on one big thing, which is more dev activity on the network, more building, right? But also more enterprise and institutional adoption and use of the underlying network. You don't have, upgrades like this on the 2025 roadmap if you weren't looking to scale in a big way. And they already told us that they're looking to scale just by going off of the, tokenization push. They want to 10x not only, the RWAs on chain, but they also want to push for DeFi scaling on Stellar. We have been noticing this push from a lot of networks, right? I've been looking into DeFi Llama and looking at a lot of these chains, and a lot of them want to push forward. For Stellar to become a top 10 giant on the DeFi TVL push, that would take about $200 million. That's extremely achievable from Stellar's point of view, especially considering the fact that they're already at $57 million. They have some great players tied to them already. And by the way, if you enable Franklin Templeton, they're already there. But I think all of these big pushes from Stellar is going to affect XLM in a huge way. And I do think that it's going to put XLM into the top 10 position on CoinMarketCap as well. But when we're looking at just TVL, it's on a massive uptrend. DEX volume, by the way, I've been focused on the DEX volume. This so far has yet to bounce back, but I suspect that it will once we start to see the market really erupt. But stablecoin initiatives on XLM are also starting to pick up, as you guys can see. We're actually over $400 million almost, which we love to see. And it's just the fact that we're starting to see these DeFi markets and ecosystems on these specific networks starting to expand at the same exact time that they're expanding tokenization initiatives, as well as really expanding the network itself through major upgrades or even integrations with specific names. Stellar is one of those, big projects that's doing this right now. The facts are there from the quarterly report, from, on-chain activity as well. And this is why I do think that XLM right now is extremely overlooked. I suspect that XLM is going to reach into the top 10 very soon. It's at number 14 right now, so it makes a lot of sense to get into the top 10. And I think that once it starts to reach into the top 10, it's not just going to stop there. I do think that this could very well be a top 5 project by the end of the cycle. And I'm very bullish on XLM, and I think everyone should be paying attention to what's happening behind the network. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because I'm free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.